Imagine your computer getting completely taken over by hackers, but you didn't click a bad link, you didn't open a weird email, you didn't download anything. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it's not. It just happened, and today we're going to break down exactly how.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Can you really be hacked without clicking on a single thing? I mean, it just sounds impossible, doesn't it? But the answer, as we're about to find out, is a pretty chilling and definitive yes. What we're talking about here is what experts call a zero-click attack, and it's as scary as it sounds. It's a technique that lets hackers get into your system without you having to do anything wrong at all. You know, it's basically the digital equivalent of a silent home invasion.
And hey, if you want to stay ahead of threats just like this one, and you appreciate these kinds of straightforward explainers, take a quick second to like and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us keep you in the loop. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of this invisible attack. Security researchers recently uncovered this really sophisticated campaign where a group of hackers found two completely separate, critical flaws and chained them together to forge one incredibly powerful weapon.
So who was behind all this? Well, the cybersecurity firm ESET did the detective work, and they traced the whole operation back to a Russian group known as Romcom. They were targeting people all across Europe and the United States, and it looks like France was one of the countries that got hit the hardest.
But how did they actually pull it off? Let's break down the anatomy of this hack. It's essentially a really clever two-part break-in that's designed to get around all the usual defenses we rely on. This is the absolute core of their strategy, what's known as chaining exploits. The first security flaw didn't actually give them full control. Think of it like picking the lock on the front door. That just gets them inside. Once they're in, then they can go after the main security system, which is a second, much more powerful vulnerability. Okay, so let's walk through this step by step. It all starts when someone just visits a compromised website. That's it. You don't have to click anything special. The site itself automatically exploits a flaw in their Firefox browser, and boom, a secret backdoor is opened. Using that backdoor, the attackers then trigger a second flaw, this time deep inside the Windows task scheduler, and that's the ballgame. From there, they have complete control to download and run whatever malware they want.
And for those of you who are curious about the technical side, here are the official ID numbers for the two flaws they chained together. The first one was in Mozilla Firefox, that was their way in, and the second was that critical flaw in the Windows operating system itself.
Now, as scary as this all is, the story does not end there. This discovery kicked off an absolute race against time for developers. So let's take a look at how the tech community responded to shut this thing down.
The second that ESET confirmed the breach, they immediately alerted both Mozilla and Microsoft. And the response was swift. Mozilla moved at lightning speed, releasing patches for Firefox and the Tor browser on October 9th. Just one day later, they patched Thunderbird too. Then Microsoft followed up with its own crucial update for Windows on November 12th.
I really want you to take this in. 25 hours. That's how long it took Mozilla to engineer and release its first patch after they got the warning. That is an incredible turnaround for such a serious flaw, and it really shows you just how urgently these companies took this threat.
Which of course brings us to the most important part of all of this, your digital defense plan. What can you actually do right now to protect yourself? Well, the good news is it's a lot simpler than you might think.
The security experts who uncovered this are sending a very, very clear message. They are urging all users to double-check their updates. This isn't just, a casual suggestion. It is a critical action item for every single one of us.
So here's the bottom line. Here are two things to try right after you're done here. First, open your Firefox browser, go into the settings, and make sure it's updated to the very latest version. Second, go to your Windows settings and run Windows Update. Please don't put it off. The specific fixes that block this exact attack are waiting for you in those downloads.
And you really can't put it any more plainly than this. If your system is unpatched, it's vulnerable. It's wide open to complete remote takeover that you can do nothing about. But once you're patched, you are protected from these specific threats. The difference between being vulnerable and being safe is just one update away.
So if you only take one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. Keeping your software updated isn't just about getting new features. It is your number one, absolute first line of defense against even the most sophisticated and invisible attacks out there.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? As these cyber threats keep evolving and getting more and more complex, is it possible that something as simple as consistently hitting update is our single most powerful weapon in this fight? It's definitely something we all need to think about. Thanks for watching.